'Twas brill again the slithy toves, did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borrowed groves, and the mome raths outgrabe. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jubjub bird, and shun the frumious bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long time the mandsome foe he sought. So rested he by the tum-tum tree, and stood awhile in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock, with eyes of flame, came whiffling through the todgy wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through, the vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with his head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my Beebus boy. O frabjous Callooh Callay, he chortled in his joy. 'Twas brill again the slithy toves, did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borrowed groves, and the mome raths outgrabe. What's up, world? Day 105 of sobriety after being high for 20 years of my life, and that's some Jabberwocky from the great Lewis Carroll, otherwise known as Alice in Wonderland's father, Big Daddy Lewis Carroll. We wouldn't have so many works of art if it weren't for those books or references to them, really. The first thing that comes to mind, although I don't know, it's in it all throughout, is The Matrix, and thinking about how Neo woke up and opens the door. He's writing some program or something like that for some people, and he saw the white rabbit on the shoulder of that one girl, and so decided to follow them. And then that's when they end up meeting. I guess that's where Trinity was there. Anyway, what an amazing thing. Our culture gets so impacted by things that are just created, and I think it's amazing that just one person can have their dreams put into something, their creativity put into something, and it is something we've all seen and can all share in. We all know Alice in Wonderland, or Through the Looking Glass, and all of that stuff. So pretty amazing. Now, Jabberwocky is a funny poem that he wrote where it has nonsensical words. I'm not sure if, I'm imagining a lot of you have heard it, but maybe some of you haven't. But it has, nonsensical words that kind of sound like they mean something. So even that, I think, is an awesome, kind of expression of creativity. Even when I'm writing songs and I don't have the lyrics for them, I'm just saying, Jabberwocky-esque things, blah-blah-blah, blah, blah. I don't say blah-blah-blah, but I just say, like, adimi dafa and things like that. So, neat things, good things in life, y'all. But I am exhausted. Oh, I'm so tired tonight. Truly, truly tired. So no music tonight. Just wanted to do a little poem. Another thing that comes to mind there is I recited that poem in high school. It was one of my first poems that I memorized completely and had to recite. I forget what class it was for now. It might have been for something like, I don't know if I ever took public speaking, but it was, I took all kinds of literary classes. So it was probably something that dissected some works of some authors. I don't know. But it's definitely a high school memory on there. And I recorded a song where I had a girl recite this poem over top of it before. I think about it too. Although we didn't call it Jabberwock. I forget what the name of it was. Anyway, what did I do today? Well, I woke up and I was up for a very short amount of time. And then I went back to sleep, and that was fantastic. In that interim, I was kind of talking to this person that I have started dating now, which has been amazing experience and just wild. So that's been fun and really fulfilling. And once I got up, it was pretty late morning by then, but I hit the ground running, and I basically did chores all day long, meaning my basement. If you guys have seen or haven't seen the past few streams, my basement flooded. Yeah. It is something that I have some level of experience with before. This is among a medium flood in terms of how much damage and time it's taken. My all-time worst flood, it was like a true hazmat situation. It was one of the worst things that I've experienced in this house, and knock on wood, I don't want to be experiencing any more things, but I do not have this heater anymore. But if you guys have ever seen A Christmas Story and you imagine the dad that goes downstairs and beats up the heater a bunch, like that was my heater. That was me. You know, if my heater wasn't working, I'd kick it and do all kinds of stuff to it, and then before you know it, it would shoot out in a big billowing black smoke, and it would go back on because it was like an oil heater, a real old heater. I live in a house that's like 110 or more years old, might be 120. It's an older house, you know. So I don't know how long that oil heater was in there, but it was an old boy. It was huge. So it used to have an oil line coming into it from the outside, and it was fed by gravity because the oil container is next to my house, and it goes down to the basement, feeds into the oil heater, and that oil line had some type of regulatory mechanism on there that was sitting on my concrete. Again, who knows for how long, but it was just slowly rattling for so many years that it etched away enough of a bottom on there to create a hole for the oil to escape. Now, somehow, it didn't really catch my attention, didn't really do anything. It wasn't a big deal. Did it only happen with what I'm about to say, or was it actually leaking a little bit? I'm not sure. But then there was this hurricane that came through. It's like 2012 or 13. I kind of forget the name, but I think it's the one that hit New York City too. But it overwhelmed my system. My sump pump broke. My whole downstairs flooded like crazy. But it got up to such a level that that hole that broke open on oil, which is basically diesel fuel, then just went everywhere in my basement. My whole basement was covered in diesel fuel and oil, and you could barely be in the house. It was such a smell. I mean, the entire basement, it emptied out. Somehow my entire tank, and I had just had the oil delivered like a week prior to that. So we're talking 100, 200 gallons, 300. It's a big tank. It was hundreds of gallons that was put down there. I had open well, and it was the worst cleanup of anything I could ever imagine. And I've never had a flood that bad, so I had a bunch of stuff everywhere. All that was ruined, and it was just, gosh, it was like months of cleanup, basically. It was one of those types of things that after a month, you would go down there and it was just still reeking of diesel fuel. And you'd pick up a brick, and the bottom of the brick is black, like on a beach when you have an oil spill or something. And you just have to wipe everything down because you can't really spray it all out. But I was spraying, Anyway, that was my worst flood. So this ranks around in the medium in the sense that I just keep running into roadblocks with this one. This one is that my sump pump wasn't working, flooded. I thought I had to replace the sump pump. Then overnight, it actually pumped it all out. So I started the cleanup process, realized the sump pump was not... Oh, and it then went into my hot water heater, shut my hot water heater off because it extinguished it. I got that back to working, realized my sump wasn't working any longer, replaced that sump pump. It still wasn't working, so I went out to the drain field. I dug up around the pipe out there, stuck my arm all the way down to my shoulder. I'm way into the pipe trying to see if there's any clog, and lots of good goo and everything in there, and it still wasn't doing anything. So I mean, really, that's where I'm about left, is that that at least proved to me that there is a clog on my side of things somewhere on this 100-foot line. And then I ran an auxiliary pump to pump the water back out, an emergency line out. So now the water's down in my basement. I resprayed it all out. So we're clean down there now. But now I just have to work on that line tomorrow. But I do have to film a concert tomorrow night, which is going to be cool. I'm going to go on the radio station, filming the concert. That's going to be great. And yeah, I'm hoping I get it done before I do that, because I don't want to be taking pipes apart and just like leaving. But I'll keep you guys updated how that goes. And then, yeah, hopefully tomorrow night I'll get to see this special person that I have been dating, and hope I will then be able to give you guys a good update on the whole day. But as for now, I already rambled way longer than I thought I was going. I thought I was going to say some Jabberwocky stuff and then be like, oh, all right, I'm going to bed. But I'm glad to give you guys a bit of an insight on the worst flood that I ever went through in 2012 or so, and the happiness that I feel that it is not quite that bad, because after that I put everything on shelves and it's a little bit easier to clean up when it does flood. Oh, and I got a propane heater after that, so no more diesel fuel spills. So anyway, that's that. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves, because you deserve it. You really do. And I'll be here tomorrow night. Peace and love. I'll see you soon.